maybe the best pure backup available right now in this year's free agent quarterback crop. That's Josh McCown. And again, it's not because you ever want him to be the guy you turn to if your starter gets hurt, because for the most part in the NFL, if your starter gets hurt, you're kind of dead anyway. You're not going to be able to win very many games. His play has declined. Yes, he's going to turn 40, but McCown has interest and has value because he is willing to be the veteran mentor. He has been very vocal that the best thing he can do for the Jets is to make Sam Darnold into an all-pro quarterback. He didn't play well when pressed into duty. That's fine. But for the Jets, maybe you bring back Josh McCown to help mentor Sam Darnold. There's really no downside to that. Yeah, it's money. The Jets have plenty of it. You can get another backup as well. But if I'm the Jets, I love the idea of making sure that Josh McCown stays in New York to help mentor Sam Darnold. That's a good thing for a young quarterback. Now, whose hair is better? Shout out producer Brett, who did not tell me this was coming, but I appreciate it anyway. Whose hair is better? Type T for Tom, type J for Josh McCown. As a completely unbiased member of this poll, the answer is Josh McCown. I think his hair is better than mine. I love his hair. Mine's great too, but McCown also has very effective hair. So McCown checks in there at number 5. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Now, as you can tell, not a great group of players to go towards to be a starter, which makes the cut/trade market that much more appealing. Now, here's some other quarterbacks who could be cut or traded. Bortles is going to get cut to be a backup. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter there. Jacoby Brissett, the Colts player, he could be a stopgap guy. Maybe a team believes he can be a longer-term option because he's pretty young. Andy Dalton, I think there's some trade value there if the Bengals want to move on. Case Keenum, I think, would be a good backup, if not one of the better backups. And Ryan Tannehill, it didn't really work out so far in Miami. I would not be surprised if he ends up with the Bengals with Zach Taylor, who once coached him, or is just a high-end backup somewhere else. So let's say you're a quarterback-needy team, looking at you, Jacksonville, the Giants, etc. If you need a quarterback this year, how would you prefer to add one? Type D for draft, S for sign, and T for trade. It does depend, of course, on where I'm drafting. But if I'm looking for a true franchise guy, from what I've seen available in the trade market in free agency, you might as well hope for the draft, although to be fair, it's really not a good quarterback class this year in the NFL draft. Let's move to number 4, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who has proven himself time and time again that he is a quality backup NFL quarterback. The issue is, the cycle of Fitzpatrick dictates that he's actually pretty inconsistent when starting. The cycle goes that he's a backup, gets pressed into duty, actually plays pretty well, ends up earning a starting nod from somebody, ends up playing poorly, ends up getting cut and or benched, and then the cycle repeats itself. Yeah, he was good in 2015 in terms of touchdowns and yards, but he's mostly been the same guy. Around 60% completion percentage, plenty of turnovers. He's highly intelligent. He's a very good backup quarterback. If you want a veteran, that makes sense. But if you're asking Fitzpatrick to be your go-to guy, it's just not going to go well. I'll throw out one team here in particular. How about the Carolina Panthers? There is at least some uncertainty around Cam Newton. Having a vet like Fitzpatrick, just in case, could make a little bit of sense. All right, folks, as I always do, I am wearing a Mizzen and Main shirt. If you want one, I highly suggest you go get one at comfortable.af. It's the best damn dress shirt out there. That URL checks out too. You're not going to find a more comfortable shirt than a Mizzen and Main one. Into the top 3 of the guys that I could see a scenario where they're signed to at least compete for a starting role or to be that bridge quarterback. And Tyrod Taylor, by the way, Tyrod, clearly the better player. He regressed this year after saying his name was pronounced Tyrod. Either way, he can still serve as a bridge quarterback for a team. And I think there will be a market for Taylor. Maybe it's the Giants. Maybe it's, probably not the Giants. Maybe it's the Redskins. Maybe it's the Jaguars or the Dolphins, for example. Taylor's never going to be a franchise guy, not at this point in his NFL career, but if you need somebody just to get you through the year, if you're trying to tank Dolphins, he does make some sense. He's a good athlete, can still run. He's going to be what he's been for the past couple of years, hopefully better than what he was in 2018, but if you need a stopgap starter, a bridge-type quarterback who's not going to break the bank, I think Taylor is the route to go. So who would you rather start at quarterback? Type RF for Ryan Fitzpatrick or TT for Tyrod Taylor. I kind of gave away my answer already by their by their individual rankings here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I still kind of have some belief in Tyrod Taylor. Speaking of belief, I will forever be the conductor of the Teddy Bridgewater train. Shut up, producer Brett. The Saints gave up a third-rounder for Bridgewater, and Breeze is 40, so I think the Saints will try to keep Teddy. Now, the problem is that he's going to hit the open market. He might get priced out. I think he will have interest as a possible starter. What I think you'll see Teddy Bridgewater do is try to go to a team that either will draft a quarterback not in the top 5, and he will get to be the starter for a year, prove his value, and try to hit the open market again and become a full-time starter somewhere else. So with that in mind, here are some possible destinations. I like the Miami Dolphins fit, in large part because he's from Miami. The Redskins certainly need quarterback help, and Bridgewater should be cheaper than guys like a Nick Foles, for example. The Redskins also, I just mentioned them. The Saints make sense here because he was with New Orleans last year. Jacksonville, I think that's the fallback option if they miss out on Nick Foles, who we'll get to in just a second. And then the Carolina Panthers at number 5. A bit of a long shot there. I feel much better about the first 3 options. But I think for Carolina, having them as an option there just in case that ends up being the case there for Cam Newton being hurt, Bridgewater, I really think makes some sense on that end. Now, again, am I off on Teddy Bridgewater? Do I overrate Teddy Bridgewater? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section. Producer Brett has already typed in yes like 18 different times. I don't think so, but of course I don't think so. I've always been a fan of Teddy. I think he can still be a starter in the NFL. He's never going to be a top 10 guy, but you could do a lot worse. At number 1, and this is a no-brainer, right? Nick Foles. Now, the Eagles could attempt to tag and trade Nick Foles, but for now, he is projected to be a free agent, so we'll include him in this group. Now, they might not be able to do so. It's kind of risky. There's some upside there, but I don't think there's going to be a necessarily massive market for Nick Foles. But if he hits free agency, that market expands versus a trade market versus a free agency market. Foles will get paid this year. I don't think it's going to be the break the bank type money that you might expect there for Nick Foles there. Thank you, producer Brett, for the sarcastic clap behind the scenes. But if Nick Foles hits the open market, I got one team in mind already. I already bet on them on BetDSI. The Jacksonville Jaguars. John D. Filippo's there. If it's not the Jags and it's not a trade, then the Redskins and Giants make more sense. The Eagles would like to not let Nick Foles go to the NFC East. That's why the trade market's kind of limited, because you take away, in theory, 2 of your top 4 fits. Denver's out of the race altogether. I don't know if Miami wants to throw big money at him. So that's why I would not be surprised if you see the Eagles unable to trade Nick Foles this year. So, about Nick Foles, where will he play in 2019? I, of course, gave away my answer with the Jacksonville Jags. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Plenty of different options on there, even beyond the 5 that I just mentioned on that little recap list.